Hello friends, my name is Jess. Welcome to Books Past Bedtime. Today I have a very exciting video for you. So I have hit my Goodreads reading goal for the year, but in years past I haven't been so lucky. I know in past years when November and December hit, I have been scrambling to try and meet that Goodreads goal. So I thought that I would share with you guys, in case you are in that situation, some good short books that will help you meet that goal before the end of the year. Obviously the Goodreads goal or any reading goal for yourself is just for fun, an arbitrary number. I'm not judging you for not meeting your Goodreads goal or anything like that. But I just figured I would help you guys out if you needed some short book recommendations to breeze through before the end of the year to meet that goal if that is important to you. So I actually have a whole list of 30 books to recommend to you. Hopefully we can run through these pretty quickly. I'm just going to be doing quick summaries, but just know that I did rate all of these books either 4 or 5 stars. Really enjoyed all of them. And not only did I rate all of these books either 4 or 5 stars, they also are all under 300 pages, so definitely will be quick and easy to get through so you can meet that Goodreads reading goal. We are going to be going from shortest to longest, so let's just hop right into it. The first book I have on this list. The next book I want to recommend is 𝗬𝗏 Ever After by Katie O'Neill. This is a really short middle grade graphic novel and it comes in at a whopping 53 pages. It is a fantasy graphic novel, as I mentioned, with sapphic princesses. Need I say more? Literally so cute and perfect. Glad this book exists. You should read it. Also by Katie O'Neill, I want to recommend The Tea Dragon Society. This is another middle grade kind of graphic novel. Super cute, super fun art style. It is really precious and it follows our main character Greta as she learns about the dying art of tea dragon care. Super cute. Love this one very much. It's also a series, so if you need a couple short books, this would be good for you. This one comes in at 72 pages. If you are more of a classics or a horror fan, I would recommend Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. Don't know if I'm saying that last name right, as per usual, but we are just going to roll with it. This short story / novella comes in at 108 pages and is about hot lesbian vampires. Need I say more? Another super cute graphic novel is The Backstagers by James Tynion IV, I believe. And this is probably one of my favorite graphic novel series. It takes place at an all-boys private school and follows a group of stage managers, and there is romance, adventure, magic, all kinds of fun stuff. This is a really fun read. Definitely would recommend. Comes in at 112 pages. And another graphic novel is Taproot by Kezia Young. This comes in at 127 pages. And like I said, this is a graphic novel, follows our main character Blue, who is in love with his best friend, but the only problem with that is his best friend is a ghost. This one's super cute too. I love all these graphic novels. Please read them, they're my favorites. Next is one that you all probably know about already, but that's Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. This comes in at 173 pages and is a super quick read. It is a YA portal fantasy story following a diverse cast of characters, has a lot of good representation as well. It is definitely character driven, but it has a lot of fun plot elements as well, and would definitely recommend this one. This one again is a whole series, so if you need a good couple books to meet your goal, this would be a good series to start. I also want to talk about How I Live Now by Meg Rosoff. This comes in at 194 pages and is another YA story. It's kind of really weird and very stylistically driven, so if things like that bother you when the writing is doesn't have quotation marks or is all over the place, I wouldn't recommend this one, but I personally like that kind of stuff sometimes, so it definitely is an interesting read. This is kind of a science fiction dystopian novel, and it follows our main character, 15-year-old Daisy, who is shipped off to London to stay with her aunt and cousins, but then a bombing strikes London, and so her and her cousins are trapped and isolated on this farm without any adults and kind of gotta figure things out. This was a very interesting and unique read. Definitely would recommend it. Very quick and would be perfect for meeting your Goodreads goal. It was definitely one that took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but it definitely is an interesting one. I also want to recommend The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This book comes in at 206 pages and would be perfect if you are looking to diversify your reading, read some more classics or literary fiction. This is my favorite Toni Morrison that I've read. A lot of her books are actually pretty short if you are interested in her as an author, so honestly I would recommend you check any of them out. The next book I want to talk about is George by Alex Gino. This is a 208-page middle grade story following George, who is a transgender girl, and she really wants to play the character of Charlotte in Charlotte's Web for her school play, but a lot of her classmates don't recognize her as a girl. This book is pure and beautiful, and it is sure to rip your heart out and stomp on it. It is so good, one of my favorites. I also want to recommend Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainford. This is very different from the last recommendation, as this is a super weird adult speculative fantasy book. It follows our main character Ada, who has the power along with her father to heal people, but her and her father are definitely very different from real people. This story is like half fairy tale, half nightmare. Really weird stuff, really random stuff happens. It definitely is like a weird book recommendation. If you don't really like weird out there books, you probably wouldn't like this one, but it definitely is a quick read. It's written in little vignettes and little snapshots, so even the pages that exist aren't very text heavy. It's best to go into kind of blind, but it's super good, super unique, and is a book that you can definitely get through quickly. If you are into poetry and looking for a good poetry collection, Aphrodite Made Me Do It by Tristan Mattier is one of my favorites that I've read this year. This one comes in at 224 pages and is written kind of in the style of Milk and Honey, but in my opinion it's a lot better. It's about love, relationships, abuse, recovery, and being a queer woman. It is super well done and also has illustrations. It's definitely really quick to get through. Would very much recommend this one. I also would point you towards Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is a 224 page YA story which focuses on the Black Lives Matter movement and the impact of police brutality. It is a quick read that really packs a huge emotional punch and has a lot of good things to say. It will definitely leave you thinking. I know I'm recommending a lot of graphic novels, but they really are perfect for meeting your Goodreads goal at the end of the year if you're a little bit behind. And so the next one I want to recommend to you is The Witch Boy by Molly Ostertag. This book is 224 pages, and I believe it's a YA story. It follows our main character, Aster. In Aster's family, the men are shapeshifters and the women are witches, but Aster himself has never been able to shift, and he is way more interested in witchcraft, but his family really doesn't want him to learn witchcraft. They want him to stick with the traditional ways. And so this is a really good exploration of gender identity and just being queer in a cute, like, magical way. It's so fun. I really love this graphic novel series. Again, probably one of my favorites. If you're looking for a graphic novel that's a little less cutesy and a little more emotionally impactful, I would recommend A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is like half chapter book, half graphic novel. It does have illustrations in it, so it makes getting through it quicker. It is also 226 pages. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, all in black and white. This is a book about a young boy dealing with his mother getting cancer and going through the stages of grief. It's a super touching and impactful read, but also pretty quick to get through. Although you probably will be spending an hour crying afterwards, so maybe it's not the best recommendation for this. Next, I have another thriller recommendation, and that is My Sister the Serial Killer by 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽 𝗏𝘓𝗏. This is 226 pages. It is also written in vignettes and like little snapshots, so it's pretty quick to read, very light on the text in the pages that do exist. Also, the audiobook is really good. I believe it's only 4 hours, so if you speed that up, really quick read. But this book follows Corday, who believes that her sister might be a serial killer because every boyfriend that she's ever had has ended up dead. And Corday is always left cleaning up the mess. But when her sister starts falling for Corday's crush, she is a little bit conflicted and has to decide between like doing what's right or protecting her family and how she can reconcile those two things. This book was really good, a super interesting, unique read. It might not be for you if you don't like weird stuff, and it's not super thrilling in like the traditional sense of a thriller, but it was super good. I really loved this book. Another good short book is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. It's really best to go into this one pretty blind, but it is a YA kind of mystery thriller suspense novel. It's following this group of friends who are family friends, and all of their families always go away and stay on this island in New England for the summer. So it's definitely got all those like fun vibes and atmosphere. I don't know about you, but I love books set in New England with like rich families. The drama is immaculate, and the ending of this one will definitely shock you. I really liked this book. I think this one's kind of controversial, but personally I really liked it, and it's a fun short book, so. Oh, and it is 228 pages. The next book I want to talk about is Last Night I Sang to the Monster by Benjamin Alire Sands. This is the same author that wrote Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which is a very much beloved book both by me and as a whole on BookTube. This is one of his first novels, and honestly it's really underrated. I loved this one a lot. It follows our main character Zach, who is 18 and a really brilliant kid, but he is also an alcoholic and has ended up in rehab, but he really does not remember how he ended up there. This one is just as beautifully written as Aristotle and Dante, and it's really such an underrated story. I would implore you to pick it up, and it's only 239 pages. One I read this year and really enjoyed was Be Not Far From Me by Mindy McGinnis. This book is 240 pages, and the audiobook is also really short. I feel like it's like 5 hours or something like that, so this one is one you can definitely breeze through as well. It follows our main character Ashley, who is out camping with all of her friends when she ends up getting lost in the woods. She can't find her friends can't find her, and she is left to survive in the wilderness and to try and fight to get out alive. This is definitely compulsively readable. It has a little bit of body horror in it, so be careful careful of that if you're squeamish at all, but this is a YA, so it's not too intense. It's such an interesting and emotional story. Really enjoyed it. I recommended this book in another video recently, but that is The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. This book follows 4 different characters living in Alaska. In 1970, their lives all end up intertwining for one reason or another. It is a beautiful atmospheric story that really took me by surprise by how much I enjoyed it. I ended up actually rating this one 5 stars. Just totally blindsided me. I loved this one. Very emotional, very good read. And it is a total of 240 pages. The audiobook for this is also really good and also really short if you want to speed through it that way. Another book that definitely is underrated that I think you guys should check out is Exit Pursued by a Bear by E.K. Johnson. This got a little bit of buzz around BookTube when it first came out, but I haven't really heard much about it since, and I really loved this book. It comes in at 243 pages. The audiobook is also good and also really short. I think it's like 6 hours or something. And even though this book is short, it's definitely a heavy one. It follows our main character, Hermione, and it's her senior year. She's captain of the cheer team. Everything is going well in her life, but then she is assaulted at a party and her world really comes crashing down, and she has to fight to not let this one event define her entire life. This book does a really great job discussing rape culture, a woman's right to choose, and it also celebrates female strength, resilience, and female friendships, which I really appreciate and love in a book. One of my most recent 5-star reads is actually really short as well, and that is The Death of 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽 by 𝗧𝗏𝗪 𝗦𝘂𝗽. This book is 248 pages. It also has a lot of pages with not a ton of text, little short vignettes, but this is a hard-hitting adult contemporary. In the beginning of this story, 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽 is found dead on their parents' doorstep. This causes Vivek's mother to really spiral into grief, and she begins to work backwards trying to figure out what happened to Vivek and why. This is a very powerful, moving story. It is also very beautifully written. This is one of the most beautifully written books I've read in a long time. I would really recommend this one. Loved it so much. Packs a punch and it's short. We love that. Next, I want to talk about Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This book is 256 pages, and it is a whimsical, magical story following these 2 sisters during their last summer at home before they go away to college. It also has a female-female romance in it and a little bit of mystery, but the best part about reading a Katrina Leno book is that it's just so atmospheric, and this book is no different. So good, would really recommend if you are looking for a good queer magical realism book. One of my favorite middle grade series that I've read recently is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This book is 272 pages. And it follows our main character Cassidy, whose parents have a ghost hunting show. So in this first book, they moved to Edinburgh for a couple of weeks to film a new season of her parents' show, but little does anybody in her life know that Cassidy is actually the one that can talk to ghosts. And so adventure and hijinks ensue. This is a really cute and fun story and definitely quick to get through. And because it's middle grade, the text is bigger, so even quicker to get through. Another short middle grade that would be perfect for meeting your Goodreads goal is The Year We Fell From Space by A.S. King. This story follows our main character Liberty as she is navigating her parents' recent divorce, and it is very hard-hitting and touching, and I love books like that, so I hope you do too, because that's what this whole list is. If you're looking for something a little lighter, something a little fluffier, I would recommend Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This book is 272 pages as well, and it is a YA female enemies to lovers kind of story. It follows Millie, who is a scholarship student at this fancy Scottish boarding school, and her roommate ends up being Flora, who is a princess of Scotland, and they immediately hate each other, but then they start to fall in love. Super cute. Loved this one. Would definitely recommend. Another queer graphic novel, because if you didn't come to my channel for queer book recommendations, I'm not really sure why you're here. But that is The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This is 277 pages of pure sweetness. It follows our main character, who is a prince. Unbeknownst to everyone in his life, he enjoys cross-dressing at night. The only person that knows is his best friend Francis, who is also his dressmaker. This book is literally so wholesome and cute. I really implore you to read it. If you need a male-male romance in your life with some bisexual rep, I would recommend Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This book is 279 pages. It is super fun and fluffy, but it also doesn't shy away from discussing hard topics such as religion and sexuality, but it is a love story between a bisexual boy who is recently in the closet and a Mormon boy whose closet is barricaded shut. Sweet and emotional at the same time. One of my favorite male-male romance books, and definitely my favorite Christina Lauren. Guess what? Another queer YA book. The next book on my list is If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. This book is 280 pages and is another queer YA contemporary. It follows our main character Amanda, who is new in school. She really just wants to make friends and maybe fall in love for the first time. But no one knows that Amanda is a trans girl This secret may end up affecting her relationships in ways that she doesn't want it to. This book is really emotional and heartbreaking, but honest at the same time. I think this is a pretty good place to start if you're new to queer literature as well, just because it kind of like eases you into things, if you know what I mean. So this one is really good. I love this book. And the last book on this list is actually another thriller, one I read pretty recently, and that is Behind Closed Doors by 𝗬𝗡. This book is 293 pages. The audiobook is pretty short and sweet. It's 8 hours, I believe, so sped up like 4. And this book follows Jack and Grace, who really seem like the perfect couple, but behind closed doors, things are a little bit different. Things are a little bit more sinister. This is a gripping domestic thriller, and it ends up having some really good feminist themes, which we don't see in thrillers a lot, and so we love that. Super good, engaging, and fast-paced. You'll fly through this one. So those are 30 books that are less than 300 pages that I rated either 4 or 5 stars that I think would be perfect for getting through that Goodreads reading goal before the end of the year. So I hope this video helped. I hope you found some good recommendations. Let me know down below what are some of your favorite short books. I'm always looking for a good short book because sometimes you just need to feel accomplished, you know what I mean? So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. I really appreciate you being here. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want to see more of my face. Definitely follow me over on Instagram if you want to keep up with me on the day-to-day. I'm pretty active over there. Check out the description for any relevant links. There's always some good stuff down there. Check it out. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.